Is first guy up.
Attention, start 2-minute warning, 2-minute warning. Start for our first 2 4-runners. Just like to welcome our guests here to Detail Park, less than 2 minutes away. We always like to give a warm welcome to some of our close friends, Blake and Andrew. And we'd like to keep warm thoughts throughout the park. We've been given a clearance to the track. We've been given a clear track. We got the green light here. So this will be the first of 2 4-runners. And we'll have a minute or so, 2 or 3 minutes after the second quarter before they start with the first comparative select. The track is cleared. Let's start for our first of 2 4-runners. Slow track for the bus, let's start. I mentioned before, this is the first of 2 4-runners. 4-runners have been selected. It's an honor and it's all right. Have an opportunity to be the first. The final sled for #1. Into the exit of 1. First time it's being posted. The track is clear. 20 seconds Bobsleigh start. Preset Hopper, Germany, stand by. Thank you.
bobsled track of the bobsled start. One of the most decorated
One minute warning for the next forerunner. 1 minute warning for the next forerunner. Let's start. This is our second final forerunner before we kick off the four-man competition. I'm just going to remind you once again, this is reverse order by rank. Both runs count. So your lowest cumulative time. On the brakes. We're just a few minutes away as the second forerunner crosses the finish line.
Push. 12 sleds, reverse. Hills at over 80 miles an hour. You're watching over the Bobsleigh.
Attention at the start. Attention at the start. For Team Czech Republic, Bobsleigh. 5-minute warning. 5-minute warning at the start for the first competitive sled.
Second race weekend of the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup season, and we are in Park City, Utah, the 2002 Winter Olympic venue. And the final trips down the ice of this return after 5 years away will come from the four-man bobsled. Heading into Heat 2, I'm Martin Haven, delighted to welcome back alongside me John Morgan. John, this track, we haven't been here for 5 years. It's just as much of a challenge as it ever was.
Yeah, and it's the same cast of characters here that are top of the leaderboard. Team Hoffer, well, he had a little mishap up there in Whistler last week, destroyed his sled, but it's still in great form. Doesn't get great starts, Martin, but boy, he knows how to let the sled motor coming down the track. Great speeds on the bottom by this guy. And here's Team Johannes Lochner. Well, the last race we had on this track at four-man, he won it. Best start in the competition in the first heat by 100th over Friedrich, who's coming up next. But Lochner made a few mistakes. That start time he had, he should have been better. He also started late in the heat. So he still could challenge for that gold medal. And look who they're chasing, Martin. We've had 3 races so far this season. Francisco Friedrichs won them all. And here he is again on top of the leaderboard, controlling his own destiny. But he did crash in training, the only sled to crash in training from all of the disciplines.
Yeah, so that's 2 weeks in a row he's crashed, and that's very unusual for Francesco Friedrich. He leads by 1800ths from Hannes Lochner, and behind him, well, from Hansi on down, anything is possible. Down to Michael Vogt, all of the remaining top 6 could easily take a medal here. Frank Del Duca, maybe not out of it either. Behind him, Simon Friedli just ahead of a tight battle with Taylor Austrian, Cedric Follador, Jeff Garbois, and rookie driver Adam Derbesh will need to find a little bit more pace in their second and final run on this track. Second race of the BMW IBSF four-man bobsleigh World Cup. We're back at Park City, Utah, the 2002 Winter Olympic venue for the first time in 5 long seasons. And for the first time for four-man in 5 years, the two-man race yesterday was the first since 2013, because the distances we have to travel in North America, this has frequently been a double four-man venue. But in our field today, only one driver was racing here in the last World Cup race. Only 2 drivers, only 3 drivers, I beg your pardon. Hansi Lochner, Francesco Friedrich, and Brad Hall. And Francesco Friedrich, this is an unusual track for him. He took a silver medal in the Junior Worlds in four-man in 2011, but has not had a World Cup medal in four-man here. So he won yesterday's race, his first World Cup two-man medal. Let's see what he can do today. Adam Derbesh, rookie driver from the Czech Republic. 2 years ago, he was a brakeman. He went away, learned how to drive, and has produced the goods in his first ever World Cup start. And he will be first off for the top of the hill.
Well, the Czechs the last 8 years, Dominik Dvorček's been the guy. So it's good to see some young faces here. Dvorček always had good start times.
Adam and Michael Dobesh, not related at all. Is it a common name in the Czech Republic? Apparently no, it really isn't. Ondřej Radl and Dominik Zaleski, both with, both Dobesh and Radl with a couple of starts. Zaleski pretty experienced now on the back handles.
491 there, 5 flat start time in the first heat. That's a big disparity. If you had a 5 flat, you would expect them up a 498 or so, but to be a 10th better, good for them. Boy, Martin, they got great kit for the first time we've seen these guys. Great looking kit.
The Czech Republic's always looked really nice, their sleds. He was here for the last 2 weeks doing two-man and four-man in North America's Cup, the second tier of sliding here. So he's got plenty of relative knowledge of this track. And he's putting it to good effect.
Push bar out a little bit. Hey, look at the crowd. Good crowd on here this afternoon at Utah Olympic Park. 138 speed, that's pretty good. 47.57. Yeah, that's quite a bit. 2700's better than his first run. Maybe the tracks got better, but he had a better start time of 900s, Martin. That's the 2700s right there.
Yeah, and that was definitely a tidier drive, but you're right. The temperature in the track, I think, has dropped again, as it did yesterday afternoon. It got quicker as the day went on.
Perfect racing conditions, really. You know, Martin, listening to all the athletes, they're so happy to be back here.
Yeah.
They love they love Park City, but the track, the atmosphere, little mistake there on the wrong side of that straightaway. Look at the runner tips here as he exits into Albert's Alley. Little bit of a skid. Look at the shoulders. Probably seeing too much of his shoulders back there for aerodynamics. We'll keep our eyes on that. That's a great replay shot.
So Adam Dobesh from the Czech Republic. First time in the World Cup, first time in four-man in the leader's box. Next up, Jeff Garbois from Team USA. 3 brand new brakemen. How new? Brand new. Never raced before in the World Cup. Freddie Harris at 2, Quentin Willey at 3. Darius Joseph was in the 2-man sled yesterday. Freddie Harris at 2, 1 Bob race, 4-man NAC last week. Quentin Willey at 3, 2 races, did the 2 and the 4-man races. And Darius Joseph, 2 and 4-man in NAC, and his 3rd Bob race was yesterday in the 2-man.
They struggled at the start, 5:06. In down, cohesion, 5:05. Push bars down, you know, Jeff from Milton, Vermont. In my day growing up, and my father was one of my father's competitors he competed against was a guy named Bill Hall from that area of Vermont. Talk to Jeff a little bit about Bill Hall. I think Bill Hall made the Olympic team in '64, maybe '68 also, one of the 2.
Better speed than Adam Debesh. And he had 1200s in hand from the first heat. That gap, though, has come down.
Watch out here. It's good. Corner's pretty tame. 600's back. He's going to need to be perfect to pick off this Czech athlete at the bottom. Speed. Got the best speed. He's got a chance. Tied.
Well, yeah, the honor's even. Nobody wins, nobody loses.
Hey, that perfect graveyard section he got through there. Best speed. Took the 600's deficiency. Tied.
Yeah.
Doesn't lose his place.
There you go. So they both get no worse than 11th spot. Shana Roebuck helping out down the bottom there. 2006 Winter Olympics silver medalist with our race director, Val Fleming.
Okay, look at the feet, the cohesion. You think it's easy running 25 miles an hour or so? Then you have to jump up in that little bunk. The number 2 guy's got to wait for the 3 guy to get settled. You know, the cohesion of a 4-man bobsled start. Not as easy as it looks.
Yeah.
Here, a little early there, a little back end skid. Here, now you want to start watching for the helmets and the aerodynamic profile. A little late off that curve.
Yeah, 11-12, really whippy transition. The fastest transition on this track. There'll be a lot more of that in Lake Placid. You get 2 turns in, then you don't breathe. Next up, Cedric Follador with Nicola Mariani, Dominic Hufschmidt, and Quentin Juillard. And again, a new lineup on this crew. Only 6 starts between them.
This guy's got great cohesion there. Down 496, 200 slower than their first heat. I got to take a shout out to the Swiss program here. Look how great these new uniforms look. The sleds.
Yep.
I always like to say you play like you look. And, these guys look great.
And 3 sleds on tour as well. They want to establish themselves again amongst the big hitters. Better speed than we've seen from the previous 2 sleds. He's in a 3-sled pack covered by 700ths of a second. Blink of an eye. Good aerodynamic profile by this young team. Good. Watch out. A little tap with 13. You can get in trouble there. The graveyard. Hanging in there. He'll be the leader. Only the second best speed. 47, 32. 7:39 in the first run, faster. Yeah.
Couple mistakes, but he's a rookie on tour.
Yep. Former brakeman turned driver over the last couple of seasons. Rico Pater, who was a medalist in the last couple of races here. He's their coach.
These guys look like NASCAR guys with the logos they have all over them.
Hey.
Really well done.
Logos equals budget.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah, look at the cohesion. Number 2, waiting for the guys. Look at their arms come up. Choreography on ice. I'll be saying that a few more times as we see that wonderful slow-mo at the start. And here, he taps there. Martin, you tap a little bit too early there. That's where Friedrich crashed.
Yep. It was exactly the same error.
And here, it's not perfect. There's 2 runners. And
Friedrich got pushed away further, and it just rolled off there. So Cedric Follador leads. Is that enough to overhaul Taylor Austin, last week's bronze medalist, and the next led up following him, Seaman Friedli of Switzerland? Well, for Taylor, for Cyrus Gray, rookie David Cachero making his World Cup start debut, and Shaq Murray-Lawrence wasn't the neatest load. Again, post-Olympic season, everybody's trying new athletes, putting new teams together, and so they don't have that intimacy. Justin Cripps there at the back, helping out this weekend with Lyndon Rush coaching.
Yeah, Rush, the bronze medalist in 2010. Of course, Canadians have done very well in the sport of bobsledding. Those two guys were what carried the load right there.
Cripps got a four-man silver in the last race here. 5:01 getaway, just a fraction slower than their first. And a bronze medal to start the season for Taylor Austin in only his second ever World Cup race in Whistler last week. It was a great boost for morale.
We never saw Taylor Austin, and all of a sudden last year at the Olympics he showed up because he won the North American Cup Tour.
Yeah, he did one World Cup race in St. Moritz,
That
and
was
then
it,
boom,
that was it.
into the Olympics. I mean, talk about in at the deep end.
Plus
Second,
12, watch out. He's going to have to motor here at the bottom. Perfect lines. There's a good speed line down to 11. He's going to have to look at the speed on the top, on the left. He's going to have top speed to have a chance.
he was tied.
He's got the speed.
Was tied with Follador.
No,
400s
not enough.
back.
And the Swiss, well, that's a scalp for them because Austin won a silver medal last week on his home track. And not a good performance here today. Start times, I think, was the nemesis for them.
Well, David Cachero, the guy at 3, has started one bob race before today. One. So, you know, you've got to forgive them. They are on the nursery slopes when it comes to the start ramp.
Can't see much fault there. Here, right side of the screen. Yeah, that's a good exit and take on here. Look at the articulation. Hardly any movement there. So, ooh, back end, a little skid there. But he had the best speed in the bottom.
Yeah, everybody puffing and blowing here, not just from the exertion, but from the altitude. 2,000 meters above sea level, this track. It is tough if you don't live here. Seaman Friedli has a 700s advantage over the tie between his teammate Cedric Follador and Taylor Austin of Canada. Just seen Taylor slip behind Follador. Friedli will want to avoid the same fate. Now, Friedli has a medal from this track, a bronze from the 2015-16 race when Rico Peter was at the front and Seaman was at the back. Now, this time, Rico Peter is doing the coaching and Seaman is doing the driving. Greg Jones, Andy Haas, and Roman Vagley, the new boy this season, at 4.
Not a bad start, 490, so 488 would be something that they would want to target. 49, okay, they improved. Good load in the sled, the velocity, the best velocity so far. Simon, ooh, I was just going to say something good about his driving. And the first commentator jinx of the day from me.
Beat you to it, you only have to think it.
Yeah, and they do it. But green numbers, it just should be. Ooh, big transition there. Those heads snapped. Means he got on late, had to adjust. There's another skid. 900s. Well, you're going to start watching the speeds here.
Front end is not going where he wants it to.
Only down to 2, not looking good. Now the graveyard coming up. Can he keep it straight here? Not.
Nope.
Lost it.
He's going to drop 2. Cedric Follador's going to lead. Is he behind
that's a
Taylor
big
Austin?
upset. That's a big upset for those guys right there.
There's Cedric Follador in the, middle there. Yeah, the tiny driver.
The race within a race.
Yep.
3 Swiss teams. Who emerges as the 1 or 2 or 3? They probably have a couple beers better than all 2.
Well, that means there's a tie between Seaman Friedli and Taylor Austin, but Cedric Follador jumps up. He will get at least a top 8 finish.
Best ever for him.
Yep.
It's about personal best. This is where he lost it right there. Can't do that. That's the just.
Yeah, that's 3 to
kiss of
4.
death right there. Up top, skid like that.
That's where you need the off ramp. When you have that mistake going into 4, you okay, forget it.
Watch the runner tips here.
And
Not
here
bad.
again,
Look at the aerodynamics. So there are too much of that helmet bouncing around. Shouldn't see that number 2 helmet like that.
No, definitely not.
He's looking at it.
Yeah. He did not have the control of the front that he needed.
I didn't like his aerodynamics there either. I'm sure they'll improve it.
Cedric Follador leads as we get to the top 7. Follador was 7th in Whistler. If he can pick off one more, that will be a career best equaling run. So Melanie Hassler there in the Swiss hat, just on the left-hand side. Raced this morning in the women's encounter to another top 5 finish. At the line, though, Frank Del Duca from the USA, with Adrian Adams, new to the team this year. Manio Mitchell and Hakeem Abdul-Sabor moves to the back of the sled.
488 first run, 491. So they did not improve from their start. You know, a great start in the first run, 4th best start, but you know, 7th downtime. He did go late in the heat, but you know, Frank just keeps getting the experience.
And you've got to bear in mind, this is, although it's his 16th World Cup, 8 of those were as a driver, this, as a brakeman. This is his 4th World Cup as a driver.
4/10 out. I mean, he's going to keep his placing unless he finds some place to park it down here.
He was 8th in Whistler last week, his career high. He's in 7th after the first heat. He's in the green numbers.
Only the 3rd best speed.
Going to be close.
Not going to help him.
Career best, 47.26. He's got the lead, and that is a top 7 finish, better than he has produced in his career so far.
1,600 slower than his first run. They were 300 slower at the start from the first run, but hey, you know, Frank, personal best. You're all out there for personal best. PBs, he just got one there.
If you can't beat yourself, ain't going to beat anybody else. So top 7 guaranteed. He was only 400s behind the next driver as well.
There's a skid. Great pictures there. How's he tapped to the left? No, ooh, yeah, a little bit of tap on the take-on. That causes the sled, the back end to come up there. That was a rough transition. Ooh.
Yeah, that hit into 11. Sends him late into 12.
Camaraderie in the sport of bobsledding right there.
Well, the thing of this is, everybody's in it. It's them versus the mountain, and nobody else can ruin your run. Mikkel Vogt, Silvio Weber, the return of Cyril Bieri at 3, and Sandro Michel at 4. These guys 12 hundredths out of the medals, but only 4 hundredths ahead of Frank Del Duca. So they're looking to try and go forward, but also aware that any slip will see them drop back.
492. They're going for it. They want to get a 490.
Yeah. 4th in Whistler, just out of the medals, his career best run.
47, 500ths improvement. So Del Duca's team went 300 slower at the start. This Swiss team, 500ths better.
1200s out of the medals.
I'm impressed with the Swiss. He had great start times in the 2-man yesterday.
Yep.
Very impressive.
Yeah, he and Sandro Michel really work well together. Best speed so far, 118.6, 73.7 miles an hour, 129.5, 80.4.
He's pulling away. It's his race right now. He's not in the leader box at the bottom because he makes major mistakes down here, and he's flying. I would say he's going to have the best speed down here. Look on the left.
Great looking run.
There's the best speed. This is a great run.
46.85 compared to 47.06.
Yeah, he improved a lot.
Yeah.
So Martin, he didn't improve as much as I just think he had a bad first run. That could be a medal. Martin, he's got a chance.
He was 1200s out of the medals. He's got a real chance.
Yeah, I like his chances right there.
Yep.
He's got 3 German sleds.
Yeah, they're kind of locking out the podium right now.
I think he's got a chance to pick off Marcus Treichel coming. This was a good run. Look at the transition.
Yeah.
Heads, good aerodynamics there. Here's where you'll find out about the aerodynamics. Look at the runners. Look at the exit of the curve, the take-on, and where you get on, the outlets where you get off. Here, how's the aerodynamic profile? Pretty good.
Yeah.
Number 2 guys tucked in there well.
So Mikkel Vogt the leader, and 5 sleds remain here in Park City, Utah. Race 2, the BMW IBSF 4-man Bobsleigh World Cup. Now, time to decide the medals. It might be a huge day here for Austria's Marcus Treichel. The 3 men behind him, Sascha Stepan, Markus Sammer, Christian Huber, no strangers to medals because they've all been brakemen for Benny Meyer over the last 2 or 3 seasons.
This could be the biggest heat of Marcus Treichel's career.
I absolutely agree. And the first run, it looked like there was no pressure on him at all. That's what he needs to produce now as well. Just get in, get it done.
Talk about personal best. He's got a chance to achieve it right here.
Fifth place last week in Whistler. A great start to the season. Now with this really well-oiled crew behind him.
49 in the first run, they improved to 488. So this sled, runners, crew, all part of Benny Meyer. Benny Meyer was always a challenger for the podium. So watch it. 700s.
He was 400s behind the bronze medal.
Ooh, late. Now he's red numbers. He's lost it. Speed, second best.
Valna sled is a quick piece of kit. Let's see if he can find it at the bottom.
Gonna have to be perfect. Still 700s back. Only chance he's got is the best, good exit here and the best speed.
Speed
Second
is good.
best speed, not enough.
Not enough. Mikael Vogt moves up one, 47.12. Well, not as quick as his first heat. He'll be disappointed.
Wolfgang Stampfer
Yeah.
there. We used to call him a merchant of speed. He had no start, but he always had fast equipment on the bottom part of the track. It's okay. It's great. Top five.
Second top six finish to start the season. He's never been in the top six before this year.
Top five. That's personal best. Start. Okay, the proficiency in, cat-like movements, we like to say. Just get in, sit down, don't move the sled around. Pretty good start, 100th better here. Aerodynamics, I think we can see too much of the number two guy. Look at that number two guy's head. So I'm going to give him a B on their aerodynamic profile.
There's Marcus Tricolt, loving life right now, enjoying this North American swing. So too is Brad Hall. 3 races so far, 3 medals for Team GB. Brad Hall, new boy this year, Aaron Gulliver at 2, Big T, Taylor Lawrence and Greg Cackett at 4. And they took a silver medal again yesterday behind Francesco Friedrich in the 2-man. And last week in the 4-man, they were silver medalists in Whistler as well.
Looking at Brad yesterday, the big scar in his left hand from the crash in Whistler in 2015 that, to me, slowed his career down. But boy, is his career coming to fruition right now.
300s from a medal again.
Great start.
Big start.
482, 485 in the first run.
Fastest in the competition so far.
Now, he needs to be perfect to challenge these 3 German sleds coming up next.
A couple of little errors in the first run. If he tidies those up, there's no question he's got the medal potential here.
His errors were on top of the track. Let's look here. Nice speed. Oh, it's 17 down to 13. Only the 4th best speed. Not a good sign. Down to 9. Mistakes here, and he could fall back.
Trying to hang on ahead of Mikael Vogt.
Speed in the left. 2nd best speed. Should hold on.
Is it enough for a medal? Is it enough for a medal? 46.92.
Well, he medaled last week.
Yeah.
I don't know about this week.
Didn't look like enormous mistakes. Is the track just starting to lose a little bit of pace?
Yeah, he had great time up top and then started falling away. Didn't see the big skid.
Now our slow-mo replay guys may well have picked up the mistakes that we didn't see with the naked eye. Let's see what we've got. Biggest start of the competition so far, 482. And if you can't get away from the line quick.
Look at these athletes in and down. These are not small people. Look at that. And then look at the runner tips here. Aerodynamic profile, I'm giving him an A+ there. He stays off the wall. Still, he lost some speed up there, Martin.
Yeah, somewhere in Albert's Alley. There's Aaron Gulliver. Big T, Taylor Lawrence, Royal Navy Sports Person of the Year in the crew. So, Brad Hall leads from Mikael Vogt to Marcus Tricolt. 3 to go. Which of the remaining 3 all German sleds is going to give away a medal? Christoph Hafer didn't get a second heat last week after the brakes failed on his sled and he ran out over the top of the track into the parking lot. Let's see if Michael Salzer, Matthias Sommer, the birthday boy, and Tobias Schneider can grab one here today in Park City.
Start time, 49 first run. They're going to have to get them 86, 87 here to match what the British just did. 90, they went slower. But Hafer, I think Hafer might be the best driver in the field. He doesn't get the starts, but every time you look up, he's got the best speed at the bottom part of the track.
All right, let's see what this FES sled can do then.
10 back. Now he's got to stop the bleeding. He's got to get it maybe 11 or 12 and use his speed merchant on the bottom.
Third best speed, fourth best speed. He's about where Brad
7.
Hall was.
Here he comes. Here he comes. This is what he does.
Needs to be clean.
He had the best speed in the two-man competition yesterday. 3. This is what he does.
Lines are great for Christoph Harfer. It's going to be close at the line.
Second best speed. He's going to do it.
Takes his first
By
medal of the
300.
season. 46.92 run. Ties Brad Hall exactly to the 100th. And so that 300s from the first heat guarantees him his first World Cup medal of the season.
Tallest driver in the field. 6'4", 6'5".
John, his career high has been a pair of fourth place four-man finishes. Hence the jubilation. This is their first ever medal.
Again, what I'm watching with him the last couple of years, he's Germany 3s because he doesn't get the starts the other two guys done. He admits it himself, it's my legs. That's why we don't get the start. He told me yesterday, look at the profile here. Well, I do see a little bit of a blue helmet back there. Look at the line.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
Well, he made it look like he was in Winterberg. He just, and he's never driven here before. He's never been to this track before. So 6 training runs in the two-man and the four-man combined, and he takes his first career medal. I know.
500s, those top 3 sleds.
Which means pressure on Johannes Lochner, because he was only 500s ahead of Brad Hall, only 200s ahead of Christoph Harfer.
Yeah, but these guys, 483 start in the first run. I
Yep.
wouldn't be surprised if they match the British or go better. 42, 41, could be.
Last time we were here, Hansi won one race, Nico Walter, Nico, won the other.
42, 81. So they just decided that they went late, Mark. They had bad ice to work with compared to Friedrich, who went second. So Hansi throws one down here. Well, I don't know, there's an 1,800 gap, but he wants to make sure he beats his teammate. He's got 1,600s in the bank.
That's absolutely what it's all about, trying to stay in front.
There's no give-me's here. This is not a victory lap for a medal. He's still got to come down.
Wrong side, 10 to 11.
Second best speed. He still should be in the teens for the lead 12. It's coming back. Watch out, late there.
Little rocky.
Graveyard looks perfect. Top 3 speed, he'll do it. 6 best speed.
It's going to be
out.
close.
100.
Just.
Oh, man. That's what I'm saying about Hofer. Hofer can drive. You give Hofer Lochner start, watch out.
Listen, 100 slower than Harfer and Hall on that run, but it is the combination of 2. Hansi has at least a silver medal.
He's got that court jester personality.
2 new boys in the crew as well. At 2, Eric Bruckert. At 3, Georg Fleischhauer had not started World Cup races before this season.
These are some studs.
Yeah.
Boy, 481. Look at the cohesion there.
Fastest in the first heat, fastest in the second at the start.
Drifted a little bit to the right. Aerodynamics, yeah, that's an A-. I can see that number 3 guy.
Building this new crew. They are absolutely ecstatic with that. They'll be thrilled with that start time. So that lays down the gauntlet for Francesco Friedrich, Torsten Margis, Candy Bauer and Alexander Schuller. They don't like to be beaten at the bottom. They really don't like to be beaten at the top either. So they will be aiming to beat anything that they've seen so far. They're always targeting records. The track record from 2001, set by Andre Lange, who went on the next year to win the gold in the four-man, has never been broken.
44 first run, 42 here.
100 slower than Lochner again.
Just think of all the famous athletes in sport. Jordan, just go down the line. This guy here, he still does it.
If he was doing this in Formula One, he'd be a household name.
And you know, I saw Monty, I saw Cher, Hiltebrands, Vaders, the Langes. This guy is just, it's just unbelievable. And he crashed this week. It was the only sled all week long. Men's bob, women's bob, two-man bob. He's the only guy crashed. What's he do out here? Oh, he just
goes away
so
and wins it.
ho-ho. Best time of the run. Beats everybody again. He's won 4 straight. And he's healthy. He's always healthy.
Exactly.
And the best thing about him, he'll help anybody who asks for help.
Yep.
He'll give it to him.
And he loves the competition. He loves it when it's a close race. Francesco Friedrich, that is 4-man World Cup win number 24.
Another day at the office.
Yeah, 24 wins, 12 silver, 6 bronze. Basically, he's not interested in being second or third or anywhere else. He does have off weekends, but this has not been one of them.
Well, guess what? Francisco Friedrich had the second best start time. Posted the bet. No, yesterday he came from behind to win.
Yep.
Here he just
third.
was the rabbit. Catch me if you can. Nobody could. Nobody's feeling guilty or bad about not catching him because he's the best the sport has ever seen.
First 4-man win on this track. He's been coming here since 2011, and that is the first 4-man gold medal. So Francesco Friedrich victorious from Johannes Lochner and Christoph Hafer. Brad Hall, Mikkel Vogt running them very close. And Marcus Streichel, another top 6 finish to start his season. Friedrich with a perfect season so far. Frank Del Duca, 7th place career high. Cedric Follodor ahead of Seaman Friedli, the battle of the younger, or the newer, let's say, of the Swiss athletes. Ahead of Taylor Austin, bronze medalist last week in Whistler, Jeff Gabois and Adam Dopesh. And most of those guys will be back in a couple of weeks' time when we take in World Cup race number 3 in Lake Placid in the Adirondack Mountains of upstate New York. And as ever, it seems in the last decade, the man with the target on his back, called Francesco Friedrich, is the man to beat in 2 and in 4-man. We wait with interest to see whether it's perfect season is. Well, there are the crew. Everybody has to try and beat. It's not an easy task. And that is it then from Park City, Utah. The next time out will be in 2 weeks' time in Lake Placid, but that will be with Francesco Friedrich at the top of the points. Brad Hall and Hansi Lochner giving chase. Brad with 3 medals so far and a 4th place finish today. In between times, in a week's time, we will have the Push Championships in the brand new Start House. Well, not quite so brand new Start House in Lake Placid, but we will travel to Lake Placid without a valued member of our crew who has been part of the IBSF TV backup for many years, Andreas Richter from Swiss Timing. Andy is taking a well-earned retirement, so...
Andy, 24 years of providing us spectacular results, service. We're going to miss you, Andy.
Auf Wiedersehen, Andy, und vielen Dank. Until we meet again in Lake Placid, we'll see you then. From John Morgan, me, Martin Haven, and the entire IBSF TV crew here. Goodbye from Park City.
I like it.